It is Friday, January. It is Friday, June 12th, and I am frazzled already by the technical difficulties. Friday, June 12th, I am your host, Alex Moretto, today here on the Hammer Daily on the Hammer Betting Network presented by FanDuel. Very excited for today's show. We lost about 5 minutes, which just means I'm going to have to talk faster, and I'm battling through a little bit of a summer cold here, a bit of a man cold, but we will persevere nonetheless. Fun show planned for today. We have the World Cup obviously going on. Got underway yesterday. We got the Stanley Cup Finals going on. We have the NBA Finals going on. I think that game goes tonight, if I'm not mistaken, or is it tomorrow night? It is tomorrow night. Tomorrow night we got the NBA Finals, Game 5. The Knicks have a chance to close that one out. We'll have so many talking about that in a little bit because I cannot offer you very much about the NBA. But I can't talk about hockey. I can't talk about the World Cup. And I have a lot of thoughts about both, which I'm excited to get to on today's show. Had a whole other intro plan, but we're just going to skip that for now. We're going to go straight into our wonderful hosts at FanDuel because the biggest stage in world soccer is here, and every goal changes everything. Because in matches like these, it only takes one moment, one strike, one goal to flip the entire game. And now FanDuel is giving you a reason to root for every single one. Introducing Every Goal Pays. Bet on a match and get a bonus bet for every goal scored in that match. That's right. More goals means more bonus bets, and all you have to do is turn on your token. So whether it's a back and forth battle or a total goal fest, you're getting something every time the ball finds the back of the net. Hopefully you had a bet on that that South Korea game last night with all those second half goals. So from the opening whistle to the final kick, let there be goals on FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com/forwardprogress to get started now. Must be 21 plus in select states. For Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, 18 plus in DC, Kentucky, Wyoming. Opt-in required. Must apply bonus token. Bonus issued is not withdrawable. Bonus bets risk expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MY-RESET. Call 1-888-789-7777. Visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Visit gamblinghelp.ma.org or call 800-327-5050 in Massachusetts. Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Call 1-877-770-7867 in Louisiana. All right. A lot of World Cup stuff planned for today. It is a Canada game day as well. A U.S. game day for all our American viewers. Basically, if you are watching this show, your home country that you live in is likely playing today. We don't have a large international audience, believe it or not. But yeah, if you're watching this show, you're probably excited for at least one of these two games today. Probably both, for being honest, because look, there's two games. We're probably betting on two games. It's the World Cup. What else are we going to do this time of year? So I have a lot of World Cup stuff we want to get to, and we're going to get to all that. We're going to update yesterday's picks, give out the picks for today's games from our Hammer competition. I'm also just going to break down every game going on this weekend because we have no show over the weekend. And there's a lot of games happening these next few days, and I don't want to miss out on any of them for you guys. So we're going to get through all of that stuff. I am going to do something very stupid that I'm already kind of regretting at one point in the show because of a dumb tweet from Rob yesterday that went viral because the internet is stupid, and now I'm going to do something stupid. So not looking forward to that, but hopefully you guys will get some entertainment out of it. And first, though, I want to get to these Stanley Cup Finals and NBA Finals. Somebody's going to join us very shortly. Before he does, I want to talk a little bit about not necessarily last night's game, but about the Conn Smythe market. Jordan Staal is now your Conn Smythe favorite. I believe minus 125 on FanDuel. Up to like minus 200, minus 215. Depending where you look. I think as short as like minus 110, but like kind of a wide range of prices. Regardless, Jordan Staal is the favorite, which to me is just egregious and wrong. If Jordan Staal wins the Conn Smythe, he will be the worst Conn Smythe winner in NHL history. And that is not a slight on Jordan Staal or a knock on him as a hockey player or a leader or a captain or a warrior. He's a guy who has been in this league for a long time. He is a fantastic leader. He's a fantastic captain. He is a warrior. He is a guy everyone would want on their team. That being said, he is the furthest thing from a Conn Smythe winner right now. And that's not because of like his abilities. I'm not saying he should never be a Conn Smythe winner or he's not good enough to be a Conn Smythe winner. I'm saying what he has done in these playoffs, his body of work in these playoffs would make him the worst Conn Smythe winner ever if he were to actually win. I cannot get behind him being the favorite right now. I mean, 1 point in the first series against Ottawa, 3 points in 4 games against Philly, 1 point in 5 games against Montreal. It was a goal that he didn't even see that went off his skate. Just a +4 through the first 3 rounds in which the Canes were 12-1. Those are not great stats. He was basically non-existent up to that point. Yes, he has put together a nice Stanley Cup Finals, but he's not even the leading scorer on his own team in this series. I don't understand what we're doing here. He's nowhere close to the leading scorer on his team in these playoffs. He's just got 12 points in 18 games. That is 5th on his team. All the guys above him have at least 3 more points. Stahl is 22nd right now in playoff scoring. 22nd. That is behind Matt Boldy and Rasmus Dahlin, who were both out in the second round. It's tied with Cutter Gauthier, who is out in the second round. Oh, but he scored a lot of goals in the Stanley Cup Final. I don't care. Good for him. But the Conn Smythe judges guys on their entire body of work in the playoffs. I could at least somewhat see it if he was scoring huge goals right now. He's not. His goals matter. He's not scoring goals in 5-1 blowouts. Fair. But he has just 1 game-winning goal in the entire playoffs. So do 10 other guys on Carolina. Stahl has just 5 even-strength goals in the playoffs. 4 Hurricanes have more. Okay? It doesn't matter what area you want to try and attack this. Stahl's Conn Smythe case is extremely weak, and he should not be the current favorite. He has 12 points right now. If he wins the Conn Smythe with 12 points, that would be by far the worst among forwards since 1980, when the NHL switched to a 16-team playoff. By far the worst. The only other Conn Smythe winners that had less than 12 points were Scott Niedermayer in 2007 and Scott Stevens in 2000. They both had 11. And they're also both defensemen who played 30 minutes a night and were absolutely dominant out there. Stahl is nowhere close to 30 minutes a night. He's older. That's fair. You don't expect him to play that much. But what are we doing with talking about Jordan Stahl as the Conn Smythe winner just because he's on a mini heater right now of scoring some goals in the Cup Final? I cannot fathom how we have got to this point. He has now surpassed Logan Stankoven, who, if we're going to make a case for anyone in Carolina, it should be Stankoven. He has been a consistent performer for them all playoffs, leads the team in goals with 11. The next best has 8. He leads them in even strength goals with 9. The next best has 6. He leads them in game-winning goals with 3. Only him and Aho have more than 1. He set the tone against Ottawa. He did the same against Philly in Game 1 of Round 2. He closed things out against Montreal with goals and points in the last couple games. He kickstarted the comeback in Game 2 versus Vegas when they were down 2-0 with under 10 minutes left, about to go down 2-0 in the series. That goal was massive. It just breathed life into that team. They went on to win that game, salvage a game on home ice to send it back to Vegas tied. He opened the scoring in the Game 4 win. He has just been a constant for them all playoffs. So if anyone in Carolina deserves it right now, I would at least say there's a case for Stankoven. All that being said, Carolina is very much an all-hands-on-deck team, and there's nothing wrong with that. That is not a knock on them, but they are not a superstar-driven team. I don't think we need to force a Conn Smythe winner from the Canes that isn't there. So throughout the entire playoffs, the best player, and whatever, you can talk about how he started and stuff like that. Maybe it wasn't immediately the best player, but pretty consistently throughout all 4 rounds at this point, the best player has been Mitch Marner. He took the playoff lead in points late in round 1, early round 2. He has maintained that lead since. And then the narrative after the first 2 rounds is wait until they play real teams. Well, guess what? They are playing real teams. Okay? He kept it up against Colorado, and he has kicked it into another gear against the Canes. He leads the Stanley Cup Finals in points with 8. He leads the playoffs in points with 29. He leads the playoffs in even strength points. He leads Vegas in points, even strength points, power play points, shorthanded points, shots, plus minus. And I think lost in all this, the voters will also love the story of Marner winning. Whether it's a slight on the Leafs or a stick it to the Leafs or Toronto, the Toronto market, whatever, or it's just the whole narrative of Marner can't perform. He goes to Vegas and all of a sudden goes scorched earth and all that. I mean, the narrative is there for him. The numbers are there for him. He is like plus 270, plus 250, shop around, whatever. Pretty sure FanDuel is one of the best prices in the market, though. That is where you need to be betting right now. Obviously, I'm not saying he's a slam dunk to win it. If Vegas loses in game 6 and like Staal or Stankoven have some early points or goals before the votes are submitted at the end of the second, I don't think Marner wins. But if Marner has like a couple goals early in that game and they lose, I think there's still a pathway to him winning. If they win game 6 and Marner does anything and it goes to game 7, barring like a Staal or Stankoven late game-winning goal or 2-goal game in a win with a game winner, I think this is Marner's. So I cannot get behind backing Staal at these prices. I think the only pathway realistically to Staal winning right now is he scores again early in game 6 to give him a goal in every game in this cup final. Stankoven does nothing. Marner does nothing. Staal scores early. Carolina wins game 6. Then sure, Staal probably wins. But like, is that minus 125 to happen? Absolutely not. That is not even close to above 50% to happen. Right now, Marner is the best bet in the Conn Smythe market. Stankoven is I would say, a close second. And Staal is a very distant third, in my opinion, the way the odds have shaken out. I don't know how we got to this point. The fact is we have. I don't see it whatsoever. I'm excited to get So Money's thoughts on this, so we will do that as well. Do we have So Money here yet, Mike, or no?
Yeah, he's here.
Okay. All right. Let's bring So Money up here. You guys know him. You love him. You haven't seen him in a while. So Money, I'm sorry to keep you waiting. We had some technical difficulties early on, and then I just got a little heated. I got upset. Great to have you. How you been?
I'm good, Alex. I'm good. How you doing? There's a lot to unpack here.
Yes, there is. There is. So I'll just give you the floor. I mean, look, you can disagree, you can agree, whatever. There's no hard feelings here. Am I like way off base? Like, is this like Jordan Staal's running away with this right now, and he should be even shorter, or you think there's a case for someone else behind him?
Well, the thing is, I don't disagree with you that there may be better options than Staal, but I disagree with how egregious that you think that it is that he's the favorite right now, right? So, yes, if you put in the body of work, and if you have to choose a Carolina player, then yeah, it has to be Stankoven. Completely agree with that. If it's a close game 7, then it has to be Marner, right? So it's not that I disagree with that. What I disagree with is that, like, you thinking that it's so off base that it just can't be Staal in any scenario. So that is what I disagree with. Now, in this series, yes, there is recency bias, absolutely, right? Like, the voters are gonna look at what's been happening in the Stanley Cup final. It's not, for me, it's not so much the goals. Yeah, he scored in 5 straight games. In the Stanley Cup final. That's incredible. We're going to remember that. The voters are going to remember that. It's more so the way that he has, in a sense, him and Ehlers, Stankoven have kept the team going while Svechnikov and Aho get their shit together, right? Which I think is obviously starting to happen now. So it's more so for me, the intangible there, as opposed to just the goal scoring that he's obviously doing a great job with. So you could make a case. Now, full disclosure, I have Staal tickets, obviously, but I also have Marner and Stankoven and Ehlers as well, right? So if anything, I'm better off if Stankoven and Ehlers win. But the thing is that I don't think it's that far off base if Jordan Staal gets it.
Fair enough. This is also an award given to the best player in the playoffs, not like a leadership award.
Correct.
It's not like the Bill Masterton Trophy. So like that's where I see the value that Staal brings without a doubt. He's like, he's obviously like a fantastic leader. He's their leader in face-offs. He's out there in a lot of key situations. He plays power play minutes. He plays shorthanded minutes. He does a lot of stuff for them. But like, every team that wins the cup has a guy like that who has the intangibles, who's a leader, whether it's in the room or on the ice. Like, those guys don't win the Conn Smythe. Those guys are recognized in other ways, maybe like, cup handoff. Staal's the leader in the cup handoff market. That makes sense. I think, or no, Slavin's leader in that. Sorry, but there's a lot. I just think there's other ways that those guys are recognized. I just can't see. I just don't see him being deserving of this. I mean, he did nothing for 3 rounds. He kind of coasted by, and he was like, he's still a good player. He won his face-offs and all that stuff. Maybe you could say he didn't have to do much, but he still played all the close games, and he was non-existent on the score sheet. And he's scoring some goals now, but a lot of guys are scoring goals in this Cup Finals. It's been a very high-scoring series, right? Ehlers is putting up a ton of points. Marner's still putting up a ton of points. So it's not like he's head over heels everyone in the Cup Final. So it's okay, well, it's only one series, but he's lapping the field right now. He's not even doing that. So I think, backing Stahl a few days ago at some of those bigger prices definitely made a lot of sense. I'm not going to say obviously that was a very good bet. But now we're at the point where he's a sizable favorite. I can't, I don't know. I can't get behind that. I think you're better off just like Jordan says in the chat, you're literally just better off betting Kane's money line in Game 6.
So look, if your argument is that right now you shouldn't be betting Jordan Stahl at minus 120 or 125, I completely agree with that, right? I don't think you should be betting him as a favorite right now, right? So if that is your argument, I agree with that. But if your argument is that he shouldn't win the Conn Smythe and it's so egregious that any thought of him doing it, that is where my issue is. Right?
I'm arguing both. Honestly, I am. Because him winning the Conn Smythe with say he has a goal even in Game 6 and they win. Him winning the Conn Smythe with 13 points when Marner has literally more than doubled that is such a slap in the face to Marner, who has put this team on his back throughout the entire playoffs.
I know, but why are we measuring this in terms of points though?
Okay, it doesn't just. But Marner's also a great penalty killer for them. He's on the power play. Marner plays all the same roles that Stahl does on that team, right?
Yeah.
So
okay. So look, if you're talking from a personal level, I would like Marner to win, right? It's better off for me if Marner wins, right? But my whole argument is that it's not as bad as you're making it seem. That
I'm upset about it, man. I'm upset about this. I love Jordan Stahl, and I'm this is not. This is crazy. What are we doing here? This is not a Conn Smythe winner. This is a very good hockey player who's having a nice series, but not a Conn Smythe winner. That is a prestigious award that is reserved for the best of the best in the playoffs. We're looking at Connor McDavid winning this thing with 42 points, and Crosby and the Messiers and this is God bless Jordan Stahl. I love him, but come on.
Okay, why don't you settle down and just enjoy your Cooper winnings there, okay?
That was a gift. Okay, fine. You got me there. That was a gift. I'll stop. I'm done. We don't have to talk about the Conn Smythe market anymore.
You did such a great job on that on the Jack Adams, man. You should still be glowing from that. Who gives a shit about the Conn Smythe right now, man? You had some nice tickets there.
I really baited Sabres fans with a tweet after that too. That was low of me. I shouldn't have done that. But I was just excited. Okay, let's look at Game 5, which is going to be Sunday night under the bright Vegas lights. Love Sunday night hockey, just the best. Vegas right now, slight underdogs at FanDuel minus 104, Carolina minus 115. They're pretty much right on market there. Total of 6, juice to the under. We've seen obviously a pretty high scoring series. A lot of chances at both ends. Power plays are both Vegas's wasn't, but they got a power play goal the other night. Carolina's power play has been good. Do you think it starts to tighten up now and we start trending towards some lower scoring games? Do you think Carolina closes this one out in Vegas? What are your thoughts on Game 5?
Yeah, I think that we've already seen it starting to tighten up. I think that last game getting to 6 was probably shouldn't have got there, but that's okay. I think that we are going to see a tighter game. And I do think that we're going to see that Carolina game where it's going to be low scoring. And I think that Jacob Slavin is going to be getting the cup handed to him on Sunday night.
Wow. Sunday night, Canes. Look, I hope not. I just want to get to the Vegas plus 1.5 home at least. Just want to get that now.
Yeah.
But Game 7, this series deserves a Game 7. It's been such a tight series. Yeah. Vegas, I'm not saying Carolina doesn't deserve to be up right now or anything like that, but Vegas has also given some games away here. I I feel like they probably feel like they should be up 3-2. And it's been a classic, and I think we deserve one more game. And I love what Tort said after the game, and that I'm going to leave my clothes at the hotel because we will be back here again in a few days. That's great. It's just classic Torts. Yeah. I love that. It's a really veteran team. I do think they push this 1-7, and then who knows at that point.
What concerns me about Vegas right now is that the goaltending has dipped. I think that early on in the series, the physicality, I think, kind of took Carolina by surprise a bit, in the sense that they were the ones that were dictating the physical play in their earlier series, and I think it was a little surprising for them for that to be taken to them like that. I think they've made that adjustment. I think that as I mentioned earlier, if Svechnikov and Aho are getting going right now, now all of a sudden you have a team that can not only match Vegas's high-end talent, but can exceed it. We're finally seeing a Carolina team that has, you can argue that they have game breakers like all throughout the top six right now, and that's something that they've never had in this era of Hurricanes hockey. So, and also Bill Carlson out. I think that's an immense loss for Carolina. That for Vegas. I think that's very difficult to overcome there for that team that really relies on him. You saw. I don't know if you caught it, but the reaction of Torts when the trainer told him that Carlson's not going to be back. Like that. That pretty much says how much that player means to Vegas. So that's a difficult loss. And if we think that it's going to be a tighter, if these games are starting to tighten up, that means that Carolina has kind of figured out how they're going to need to neutralize Vegas's top end talent. And if they're starting to do that, plus they're getting game breakers, it's very difficult for me to envision them not getting the job done now.
Yeah, not having Wild Bill is massive, because like he catapulted that second line and really helped kind of slow down Carolina's second line, and now without him, that obviously changes the dynamic. And we haven't seen a big adjustment in the odds based on where we were in games 3 and 4, right? Which is, I mean, a little bit surprising to me, just given how much they're going to miss him. So I'm not betting Vegas here. I would like to see Vegas push this one forward, but I think at this point I'm pretty much just going to plant my flag in Conn Smythe stuff, and if I'm going to lose money that way, I'll lose money that way. I don't need to add more to it with Vegas. I think any bet on Marner Conn Smythe right now is how I would back Vegas winning Game 6. I think if Vegas wins Game 6, Marner's Conn Smythe equity obviously goes way up, because you're looking at like not a coin flip Game 7, but Game 7s aren't close to a coin flip. Let's be honest, regardless of what the line will say. And you're also, I mean, I think he has a much higher chance of winning it in a 7-game series loss than he does in a 6-game series loss. So that's how I'd kind of bet this right now, is just adding some more Marner.
Yeah, so I don't think Marner wins it in a Game 6 loss, regardless of what he does. Like, I mean, if he has a hat trick and like they lose like 7-5, like, I mean, maybe, but even in that scenario, I still don't see it. In a Game 7 loss, if he had a Game 6, I don't think he has to do much in a Game 7, unless if Stankoven or Stahl go off, which, I mean, the odds of that are not great in a tight Game 7. So, I don't disagree with adding more Marner, especially if you think that Vegas is going to win. I think that betting Marner right now would be better than betting Vegas for a Game 6.
Yeah, I agree with you there for sure. So that's the way I'd attack this one. Let's shift over to the NBA, which is tomorrow night. We got Game 5. Knicks a chance to close this one out. So, Money, I am not a ball knower at all, so I'm going to keep this very short for myself. But I have watched pretty much every game of this series. Some of my first basketball games that I've watched in years. Because
that's amazing.
Yeah, so
what a way to get into
it. It is a great way to get into it in a sense. I'm also losing, significant portions of bankroll on Spurs series bets that some people told me to get on, that I now I'm maybe blocking them on Telegram. But nonetheless, Spurs have like from what I've seen, it's obviously been a fantastic series, but they have literally given the series away so far. Obviously, like the Wemby missed pass in game 2, blown lead in game 1, then the blown lead in game 4 with the just insane, blocked layup at the end when they could have pretty much run out the clock or at least taken a foul or something. Like just insane end game scenarios to put the Knicks up 3-1. Do you think that game 4 loss just kills the Spurs here and like it's hard to overcome that, or do you think they're still live in this series?
Okay, so this might ruffle some feathers here because it's the way that it's what I believe. I don't believe in game by game momentum. I do believe in momentum within games, and if you've played at any level, you know that when things start going south for you, like it can really snowball. So within the games, I believe I believe momentum exists. These are professional athletes. I don't think that game by game, the previous game carries forward. However, it's a little bit different in this case because it's not as if that the game 4 lead was the only lead that the Spurs have blown in this series. Yes, it was the biggest comeback. It was 27, 28 points, whatever it was. But they've blown leads all throughout the series. And the Knicks, when they've turned it on, when Cat is not in foul trouble, they've been able to really shut down the Spurs. And we saw that in the second half when he was able to get his minutes. So now in terms of line composition, we were getting San Antonio -7, up to -7 in their last home game, game 2, right?
Yeah.
So we were getting San Antonio up to -7. 2 games later, they're down to -5. So in terms of if there is any momentum, and if I'm wrong, and if there's momentum that carries forward game by game, that's already been accounted for in the line, right? They're not -7 anymore, they're -5 now. So if you believe that the reason that the Knicks are going to win this game or cover is because they're going to carry forward the momentum, where would you make this number now, right? You're already getting it discounted from 7 to 5. So that would be my question. It's not that I don't think that the Knicks are going to win the series. I just think that we're discounting the Spurs too much right now. And I do think that the Spurs, they do have the run in them in game 5. I wouldn't bet them to cover the 5, but I think that the plus 350 on the series, or the plus 350 there, I think that does make a lot of sense. And then you have the option of coming back with the Knicks later on if you want. But I don't think that the series is over, and I don't think that the momentum from last game should necessarily carry forward.
Okay, so you're saying there's a chance, and our friend Matt Albert will love you saying that as well because he's sitting on Game 6 tickets. He got them at some pre-sale for like very cheap, and from what I understand, he is planning on selling those for a pretty penny if the Knicks do end up in Game 6. So hey, good for him. It's nice to see a bet finally pay off for that guy. He's had it coming for about 4 years. All right, so Spurs on the series, you're saying is the best way that you would attack this. Not backing them on the spread in Game 5, but Spurs series still has some value.
I think so.
You just hyping me up. You just making me believe a little bit more. Man, people have been making me believe this whole time, and I just I lost a nut on the Spurs beating OKC, and now I'm losing a nut on the Spurs. So the Spurs are really just doing me in here. They beat OKC to screw me, and now they're going to potentially lose to the Knicks to screw me again.
Yeah, the only argument that I have here for the Knicks is that they have the momentum, and that's not enough for me to just say that the series is over when the Spurs have gotten leads all throughout. Now they've blown leads. They're showing their inexperience a lot here, especially that second half. I have no idea what's happening there. Right. But they had that game, right? So in end game variance is one thing, but the Spurs have gotten to that point in almost every game. and they've just blown it. So at some point, you would think that they're able to start closing these games out, and that's essentially what I'm betting on, as opposed to you. There's just no way you can recover, which I just don't believe that to be the case.
All right. Fair enough. I like that breakdown. I've kept you a lot longer than I wanted to keep you so money. But before I let you go, we've had to sit through on every Friday for the last number of weeks. We've had to sit through George G Stack giving out shitty UFL picks, loser after loser after loser. I don't actually know if they've been losing, to be honest with you. But I want some real football picks right now, because football in Canada is becoming real football as well. I'm getting to the CFL. It's been fun. I'm watching some games lately. It's been enjoyable. Do you have any CFL for us before you leave? Maybe no CFL. If you don't have any CFL, do you have any like World Cup bet? We need some sort of other sports for us here.
All right. So CFL, I do like the Argos plus 6.5 right now.
Okay.
I think that's fine. I was kind of waiting for a 7. It's not going to get to a 7. So I think plus 6.5 is fine. I don't necessarily think that they win this game, but I think that the Argos are being discounted. I think that they're going to have a much better defense. I think that offensively they'll be fine. And I think that this line is based on where these teams were to end the season last year. And even though Montreal is very good, I just don't believe them to be worthy of the minus 6.5 at this stage of the season, based on where I have where I have the Argos. In the World Cup, I do have a bet. Bosnia plus 0.5.
Oh, get him out of here. Get him out. No, come boo this man. All right, Bosnia plus a half. Bosnia plus a half, so money. And then the Argos plus 6.5. Appreciate you so much. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the rest of these Cup Finals. Enjoy the World Cup, and enjoy some beautiful CFL action. We'll talk soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, Alex.
Yeah. All right, that was So Money Sports with some NHL bets, some NBA bets, some CFL bets, and some World Cup bets. I don't know who else is giving you that on this network other than So Money Sports. We love him here. Appreciate him coming on and joining us. We have a special guest. I don't know if he's ready to go or not, but we have some boots on the ground right now. Canada's first game of the World Cup today. What do you think? Do we got him queued up or not yet?
Yeah, he's here.
He's here. All right, let's bring him in here. Let's see what's happening outside of Toronto Stadium right now. Jacob, what's going on? Yeah, I got you. Beautiful. Can you hear us?
Yeah, kind of a little
you.
Quiet, but I'm at Toronto Stadium. As you can see, the Fan Fest was a bit too busy, so came to the stadium early, and the vibes are truly immaculate here today. It's fantastic out here.
What's the discrepancy here between Bosnia and Canada fans? What's the split? We lost them. All right, that's all right. We got a quick look at that. That's all we needed was a quick look. I appreciate Jacob joining us. He needed to just get out of there so he could start drinking. That's basically what actually happened. He didn't actually lose connection, but we appreciate him giving us a quick little view there. Charles says, "See ya, Bosnia fans." Seen a lot of videos. There actually are a lot of Bosnia fans in Toronto right now. So I'm very excited to see what the atmosphere is going to look like there. I don't think it's going to be nearly as many in the stadium as has been reported. They're saying up to 30,000 Bosnian fans are going to be inside Toronto Stadium, or BMO. They can't call it BMO because of sponsorship stuff, but Toronto Stadium. I don't imagine that's actually going to be the case. I think there will definitely be well over 50% Canada fans. I think a lot of these Bosnian fans are going to be watching on the street, watching at the Fan Fest, whatever. But it's going to be a great atmosphere. They are definitely well represented. So that's pretty cool to see. Also, I'm kind of jealous that I'm not down there right now. All right, so let's keep the World Cup stuff going, because I got a lot of stuff I want to talk about. We don't need to break down yesterday's games. What we do need to do is break down yesterday's picks, because we do have a competition going on here at the Hammer. A fun competition with a bunch of our creators, a daily World Cup picks that we're going to be doing throughout the tournament. And yours truly is tied for first after yesterday. Here we go. We had South Africa under 3.5 corners that I got home there. They had 1 corner, so that was pretty comfortable. G-Stack had Mexico. That was also pretty comfortable. Jason, the minus 460 that closed minus 360 on South Africa. Under half a goal. I mean, I won't say it wasn't comfortable because they didn't really pose a threat, but it should be comfortable when you're laying that kind of juice. And then that's it. No one else was able to win. All these guys went for these bigger payouts, and none of them were able to get it home. I would say somewhat robbed, though. Cleve, Knish, and Rob, at least. Goon could have had that push with a late chance for a couple late chances for Czechia that South Korean goalie made some big saves there. Cleve and Knish would have cashed the draw if that goal did count, and Rob would have cashed that over 3.5. But I would say South Korea also very deserving of those 3 points yesterday. They that first Czech goal was very much against the run of play, and South Korea deservingly tied it and went on to win it there. They were the ones pushing the pace throughout, and they were rewarded for that. Whereas Czech, even when they went behind, Czechia, I don't know. Czechia, when they went behind, they still, like, they couldn't really drum up anything. They were so just mundane in possession. A lot of just like negative passing in midfield, couldn't penetrate the back line whatsoever. Very non-threatening. Their best chances all came from set pieces. Throw-ins too, nonetheless, not even corners. I had a pretty big bet on over 8.5 corners, and then I also had some alt over 9.5 and 10.5 corners. The over 8.5 got there, but we had 6 corners in the first 20 minutes, and we finished on 9. That was extremely frustrating. Very, very frustrating, especially because the only way the Czechs were threatening was through set pieces. To not be able to just like attack the flanks and try and get some more set pieces, it's like, what are you guys doing watching that game? Anyways, we got a lot of picks today as well. Everyone has submitted their picks, so we will go through those as well. Here they are. We got Rob. So the way we did this for Friday was that because there's no show over the weekend, we gave everyone a chance to pick from all the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday games. So one bet for all the games over the next 3 days. And some people obviously took advantage of that. So Rob with Ecuador, I believe that game goes Sunday night. Ecuador draw no bet, -165. Jason, Canada, Bosnia, under 3.5 goals, -470. Let's get a 3-1 Canada win there. That would be great. Jacob, Scotland, -0.5, -175. Cleve, Ecuador, -1.5, +460. So him and Rob both on Ecuador there. Goon on the U.S., -0.5. That's tonight, +100. I think you can get better than that now. It's been a pretty steady stream of Paraguay money coming in today. I'm not sure what that's all about. Let's see if that goes back towards the U.S. as we approach kickoff at 9 p.m. Eastern tonight. G-Stack on the Netherlands. He talked about the Netherlands a lot in the extravaganza. That's a team he really likes, so he's putting his money where his mouth is there. And Knish with, I wouldn't even say that's a bet. I would say that is more of a troll than anything. Bosnia, -1.5. Almost 11-1. That is a guaranteed loser. A guaranteed loser right there. I'm sorry. Knish is not going to get that one home. And I am giving out Canada, Bosnia, over 4.5 cards, +138. Sorry, guys. I am struggling a little bit right now with my voice. Just I haven't done this much talking in a few days, trying to rest up for this. But Canada, Bosnia, over 4.5 cards. So that is like yellow or red cards. If a player gets 2 yellows and then gets sent off, like that turns into a red, that only counts as 2 cards. So if you're trying to obviously the bets will settle themselves. You don't have to worry about that. But if you are like new to soccer betting, you're trying to do some accounting and someone gets 2 yellows and then a subsequent red because of the 2 yellows, that will count as just 2 cards, not 3. But over 4.5 cards, that is now +120. So it has moved a little bit, but I still like it at +120. I think that's good to about +100. I also like over 3.5 cards, -196 currently, and over 5.5 cards, +260. I think there's a few different ways to attack that. I'm going to go through all the games this weekend. We're going to do that not quickly. I want to be able to get through all of them. But before we do, maybe this will even help my throat because I am struggling right now and I need a break from talking. So what I'm going to do, Rob sent out a tweet yesterday that apparently shook the internet, led to some crazy revelations. Steffi Smalls quote tweeted and explained why some people from her sorority would eat kiwis with the skin on. I've never done this in my life. I literally didn't even know you could. I swear at one point when I was younger, my mom told me that like the skin was toxic. I don't know if it was that or if it was cantaloupe or what, but I've always had it in my head that like you cannot eat the skin. Also, why would you want to? It's like furry. So anyways, very divisive in the comment section, which had me shook. And because of that, I am going to try a Kiwi. This is 7 million impressions is bananas. I know, George. I can't believe that. I cannot believe a tweet about a Kiwi was, I mean, I guess like it's, I didn't know you could eat kiwis with the skin on it. I guess a lot of people didn't. And then a lot of people who did were like, actually, this will change your life. So I know Cleve in our Forward Progress chat said that, great fiber. Well, thankfully, I'm not leaving the house today. So if I do eat this and it does run through me, I'll be all right. So a little bit stressed. There's a lot of hair. I don't know if I got like a particularly furry one or what, but yeah. Just going to have to bite the bullet.
I was going to say quickly, sorry before you bite into the Kiwi, Alex. In this picture, I was looking through the replies. Does it not look like Rob put butter on his Kiwi? Like if you
it does look like that. It does look like that. That's obviously like the pit in the middle. I also didn't know, like, so it does look like that. That's the pit. That leads me to my next point. I didn't know, like, is it better to do it with a harder Kiwi? Or do you want like a really ripe, soft one? Because I feel like when I cut my kiwis up, I usually get the hard ones because I'm like a fan of the sour fruit. So like I'll cut it up and like, because it's not like the ripest yet, the inside is like the pit part, or like not the pit, but like the middle is still pretty hard. So I usually try and cut that out a little bit too. So honestly, if this goes well, it'll change my life because I like kiwi, but I don't eat it that often because it's such a pain in the ass to always like slice the skin off and peel it and cut it up or prepare it. If I can start eating these like apples, and it's like tolerable, I'll give a lot of credit to Rob. And I don't give credit to Rob often. So
all right, let's see it.
This could ruin the rest of the show because I could be in shambles after this with like hair in my mouth. And this could be just like the ultimate prank. But I read enough replies where I feel like, okay, this is not shit posting. This is very real. A lot of people do this. So here we go. It's an adjustment. Okay. It's not as bad as I thought.
What is it like?
It's definitely chewier. You cannot taste the hairs like I thought you would. I thought it would be like furry. That goes away very quickly. As soon as you bite into it, that's gone. I would say there's a little bit of like maybe residue in my mouth here, but it's not bad. I prefer it without, but I don't prefer it without enough to have to cut it and peel it and put all the work in. I would say from now on, this is probably how I'll eat my kiwis. Pending me not exploding later on today. That's obviously like there's definitely an asterisk here. If that happens, I'm out. But as of right now, the texture and the taste, it's okay. I'm good. Not bad. That's better than I thought. I take back what I said. That's better than I thought. And I will say there's a little bit of like a film in my mouth now.
What would you rate it out of 10?
Okay, how about this? Instead of rating it out of 10, the difference, all I'll say is the difference is noticeable, but nowhere close to as much as you'd think. So like, if you like kiwis and like for you, like kiwis like an 8 out of 10 fruit, I think eating with the peel makes it like a 7.5. So it's very slight deduction. If you don't like kiwis, it's probably not for you. If you love kiwis, this won't make you love them any less. It's
so
not
for
bad.
The next kiwi that you eat with skin on, I saw a reply that said add some salt. Now we need to put that to the test. And we'll
Yes,
do that when
we
we
do.
do our watch-alongs.
Okay. All right. We'll do that in studio.
Yeah.
I was actually gonna prepare some salt and I didn't. But honestly, that's not bad. That's not bad. And now it's like it's breathed new life into my throat and I can start talking again without coughing. So successful. All right. Let's get to the World Cup. Here we go. We got a bunch of games going on. We talked Canada, Bosnia, just a little bit more into my thing about the cards. I do like the over 3.5, over 4.5, over 5.5. Part of that is just how both teams play. Canada also not having Davies. Larea is a little bit more of a liability on the flank and defense. No, I don't expect Bambito to play. I know he's available, but I don't expect him to play. So that also takes away some pace for them at the back, makes them a little bit clumsier, a little bit more naive. So Bosnia, also a very physical team. I think the atmosphere is going to be fantastic, going to be very rowdy in the stands. Emotions are going to be very high, as will nerves. I think that's going to lead to a very intense game. Neither team is going to be shy about playing physical. I think we see a ton of fouls, a ton of cards. Obviously, a very important game with Swiss the favorites in the group. So, I do really like this look quite a bit. That is my bet for that game. I'm also going to be betting Canada because, come on. I don't have the Canada jersey right now, but I did wear the Bayern Alphonso Davies to at least represent a little bit here. I'm very excited for this game at 3 o'clock. Hopefully we see lots of cards. Hopefully we see a Canada win. I know there's the super sub thing as well, which I think a decent way to attack that. Maybe a Kyle Larin goal because Promise David, if he comes on, will probably be coming on for Larin. I don't think Larin can play the full 90. So if you're looking for a way to back Promise David off the bench, I think maybe Kyle Larin anytime goal is the way to do that. We'll go to the U.S. game. U.S. steady stream of money against them, despite I know Dave Mason's talked about all the money coming in on the U.S. to win. I know people have talked about it a lot and how much they like the U.S. in this tournament. Obviously, I don't think their ceiling is anywhere close to World Cup winners, but I like the U.S. today. I think at home, I don't think Paraguay's great. Obviously, dealing with a big injury up front right now as well. Their best attacker in Enciso is out. They don't have anyone to actually replace him with. They do not have a direct replacement for him. Almiron is good, but he's a little bit not over the hill, but he's not the player he once was. That's really going to hurt them going forward. I just don't know how they replace him up front. And the U.S., buoyed by that crowd, a lot of attacking talent, pretty strong in midfield, a little maybe naive at the back. I'm not sure Paraguay is the team to take advantage of that. I like the USA here. I'm going to be back in the U.S. Square, whatever, call it what you want. I like the U.S. in this game. And as of right now, you can get as good as plus 115 I'm seeing, which is great compared to where we were sitting. So, who am I to fade soccer money in a very, very liquid market? But take that for what it's worth. I've also played a decent amount of Paraguay to finish last in their group. Up plus 300, I think you can find. Very tight group. I think all four teams are going to be live in just about any given game. I really like Turkey, but look, they're obviously a pretty up and down team as well, where, there's no reason that in Australia or someone can't nip them. So in what I think is going to be a very open group, Paraguay, I think, is going to be the team that struggles the most to score goals. And I think that could cost them. And I think getting that 3-1 price tag on them to finish last in the group is a nice look. On Saturday, we open things off at 3 p.m. Eastern with Qatar and Switzerland. I like Qatar under half a goal here. I don't see how they get on the score sheet in this tournament, let alone in their toughest group match here against a very defensively sound and structured Swiss team. This should be very straightforward for Switzerland. I also like on FanDuel right now, which I think is my favorite way to bet this game, is if you go into the match page and go over to goals, and then you scroll down, there is both teams to score and over under 2.5 goals. I like no and over 2.5 at plus 230. So I bet that, and I think that is the best way to attack this game. So that's basically like the equivalent of Swiss minus 2.5 because you need technically you're getting Qatar minus 2.5 there as well because if they win 3-0 or 4-0, then that gets home. But like Qatar's not winning 3 or 4-0, so you're basically backing Swiss minus. It's a clever way to back Swiss minus 2.5 and plus 230 is a really good price compared to what else is out there in the market. So yeah, I like that way to attack this game. We go into Brazil Morocco. I'll be taking Morocco plus a half, plus 3/4, which is like, for those new to soccer betting, again, plus 3/4 is the Asian handicap. That means like if they lose the game, that means, so if plus 3/4 means like half your bet is on plus a half and half your bet is on plus 1. If they lose by 1, you push half your bet and you lose half your bet. If they tie, you win your full bet. If they lose by 2 or more, you lose your full bet. That's the way I'll be backing Morocco here. I do like them. I think they're this is obviously a very good team. Everyone's talked more than enough about how good this Morocco team is. I also think there's an element of like Brazil kind of comfortably know that a draw here still probably gives them a leg up on first in the group because they can go out there and run things up against Haiti and Scotland and top the group on goal difference with 7 points, whereas Morocco are a lot less likely to rack up those big score lines in those games. So there's an element of like Brazil maybe being comfortable settling for a draw here. I'm not saying they're going to be happy and go into this playing for a draw, but like if it is tied, I think they're not going to be necessarily pushing to win this late. So I like Morocco plus a half or plus 3/4 in this one. I think plus a half is fine. Haiti, Scotland. I'll be backing Haiti in some capacity here. A ton of talk about how bad this Haiti team is, but they're not terrible. I mean, they've got some quality. They know how to like CONCACAF it up, which like for people new to soccer is like CONCACAF it up means like just really muck this game up, turn it into a bit of a slugfest, a lot of fouls, just like an ugly game. And Scotland, obviously like a very physical team, will not be any strangers to that. I think this is another game where we'll see a ton of cards. Scotland, the Scottish football is not exactly the most attractive free-flowing football either. Haiti very much will play the same way. So I think Haiti can make this difficult on Scotland. I think plus 1.25 is the way I would go here. I think there's a real chance that Scotland finish last in this group. McTominay right now battling stomach issues. He was left out of training and he's been quarantined from the team. I'm sure he'll play. Probably just give him some Pepto and he's fine. But like maybe a little bit weak, and they need him desperately because no Billy Gilmore. They are very weak right now in midfield beyond him. I think Haiti can really make life difficult on this Scotland team. It's a Scotland team that can struggle to score goals at time. I know in qualifying they were, a little bit more on the score sheet than the goals, but like not the toughest group, not the toughest pathway here, and things just not exactly breaking right for them as we enter this tournament. Australia, Turkey to close things off. That is midnight Eastern time on Saturday night. I really want to watch this game because I really do like Turkey and their chances in this tournament. Will I be able to stay up until 2 a.m. Eastern time? It is highly unlikely, so that's too bad. But I like Turkey here. That's probably the one favorite I really want to back in this in those 3 later games. Australia not bad. I mean they made the last 16 obviously at the last World Cup with a worse squad. They kind of find ways to grind out results and like turn in decent performances at these tournaments. This is a better team than they brought with them a few years ago. It's not a great team, but like it is decent. They have some, Mohamed Touré in attack. Volpato is decent. Iran Kunda is pretty good. So like they have like a decent team there where, maybe they can make things interesting in the group and stay competitive, but I don't think against Turkey. I think Turkey just has way too much quality up and down this lineup. This would be very, very disappointing of a result for Turkey if they can't get 3 points here. So minus 140, maybe a little bit rich. Maybe there are other ways to back Turkey here. Like, not the best defensive team, a really good team going forward. I think maybe like a Turkey and both teams to score is decent, which I'm pulling up the FanDuel price right now. Both teams to score is minus 108. I really like that as well. But if you do the result in both teams to score, you can get Turkey and both teams to score at plus 280. I really like that too. So those are 2 bets that I will definitely be on for that game. And then we're into Sunday where we've got Germany and Curacao. I'm just going to defer to Goon here. Look, I know Curacao very well. Like I have a lot of family in the Netherlands, so I watch a lot of, Eredivisie soccer. I'm an Ajax fan. I know a lot of these players. A lot of them play domestically in Holland. Most of them were born in Holland. Pretty much all of them were born in Holland except for one. They're going to be in tough here. It's great to see that they've qualified. Would never have happened if Mexico, USA, and Canada had to go through qualification, though. Germany should run through them. They really should. I know Goon on the group previews gave out Germany, Curacao over 1.5 in the first half. That was minus 148 at the time. He said good to minus 175. Right now, I'm not sure if that price has moved too much. First half over under 1.5. It's minus 164 on FanDuel. So still good. He said good to minus 175. He also liked Germany minus 3.5 plus 102 in this game. So he likes Germany to run it up. I think that's a fair shout. Just overwhelming amounts of quality through this Germany team, and two really, really tough games coming up against Ivory Coast and Ecuador. So if they're going to get goals, they're going to need to do it early against Curacao. So not my bets. I'm not going to take credit for those ones. Those are both from Goon. Germany Curacao first half over 1.5, and then Germany minus 3.5. You can probably also just back Germany over 1.5 first half goals, if we're being honest, because the over 1.5 in the first half is minus 164, but Germany over 1.5 goals is minus 128. So like, is the difference in those, 40 cents worth it to on the outside chance that Curacao scores a goal? Curacao, whatever. I would say no. I would much rather back the Germany over 1.5 first half goals at minus 128, because realistically, if you're getting that over 1.5 first half goals home in the game, it is because Germany have scored 2. I think that is like 90%, and then there's like maybe 10% to like a 1-1, but like that might even be generous saying it's a 90-10 split. So minus 128, I'm going to take credit for that one. Minus 128, Germany over 1.5 first half goals against Curacao. Then we got the Netherlands and Japan. I'm worried about my Dutch. I love the quality in this team. I think Japan also not as good and not as in form as they were going into Qatar 2022, when they were a lot of guys in really good form domestically. They had a bit of a better squad. They have now just lost Endo for the tournament. He's out of the squad. That's a bit of it's a bit of a loss for them in midfield. He was maybe not their best midfielder, but he's very experienced and a guy who was definitely going to be in that starting 11. So they lose him. They have a lot of guys who maybe are not in as good form as they were 4 years ago. So I'm not necessarily high on this Japan team, so I don't want to fade the Netherlands. But I'm also not looking to fade Japan here. I'm kind of, this is a game where I'm more just want to like learn a little bit more about these two teams. I think the Netherlands are loaded, and the back line is fantastic. But Koeman is a disaster of a manager. He has no grip on this team right now. He does not know how to deploy his best 11. He does not know how they should play tactically. It's a very naive approach from them, given what their strengths are. He does not play to them whatsoever. So they can't keep clean sheets, and they should be keeping clean sheets regularly, and they are not. They have not kept a clean sheet in a while. So I think maybe another both teams to score here is worth a decent shout. Maybe something like we talked about with the water breaks, attacking Japan live if Netherlands do go up early. But I think maybe a both teams to score is probably my like strongest lean here. Minus 134 right now on FanDuel, but probably a game I'm more just going to sit back and just like try and learn a little bit about these two teams right now instead. And then we have Ecuador and Ivory Coast. That is Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Should be a fantastic game. Two teams that are just defensively outstanding. Obviously, like Ecuador have been talked about a ton as a great sleeper team, and I love Ecuador. I love that back line in midfield are so strong, maybe lacking a little bit up front, but like just such a bastard of a team to break down that they're going to be really hard to play against. Ivory Coast are not being spoken about in nearly the same high regard as Ecuador, but like maybe should be. They're not quite on the same level as Ecuador, but they are a really, really good team with like loaded with talent throughout. Ndika and Diomande are like a fantastic center back pairing. They also have Singo. They have Guela Due at right back, like a really strong back line. Sangare in midfield, Kessie in midfield, Ulai in midfield, then Traore, Diallo, Diomande in attack. I mean, they really do have an embarrassment of riches. They did not allow a single goal in qualifying, and obviously African qualifying is not, as good as maybe the pathway that Ecuador would have had to take in the gauntlet of South America. But like, look, they did not lose a game and they did not concede a goal. That is hard to do in 10 matches, regardless of who you're playing against. So this is a really good team. I know if you've like looked at some of if you've like been betting this tournament top down a little bit too, you'd see that there's a lot more love for Ivory Coast on some of the like market makers than there is on some of the other books, which speaks to maybe this team being slept on and maybe the Sharks backing them a little bit more. So I'm not going to be betting Ecuador in this game. I'm not going to be betting Ivory Coast in this game, but I do think this should be a really fun watch. Fun in terms of like just learning something about these two teams. I don't think we're going to see a ton of goals, so I wouldn't say fun in that regard. But the under 2.5 is juiced to minus 260 because it's going to be hard to see goals in this game. I think alt under minus 1.5 plus 134. I think you could even back like no goals in the game. Maybe a 0-0 draw at like there's like 6-7 to 1 maybe out there. I think that's not terrible either. Just going to be what I think is a very defensive game, a game that neither team can really afford to lose, knowing that they also have to play Germany. So I think it will be tight. I think it will be tense, and I think neither team is going to want to put a foot wrong here in this first game. Lastly, we will close this out with Sweden and Tunisia on Sunday night at 10 o'clock. Obviously, a bit of a talent disparity here. The Swedes are, pretty loaded up front with Gyökeres, Isak, Elanga. They have a very strong team. They're pretty good in midfield with Bergvall as well and Ayari. But Tunisia, they're a pretty experienced group. They're a team that's played together for a long time. They have guys like Shkiri in midfield and Slimane that are going to make it very difficult and provide good cover for the back line, make them tough to break down. Obviously, a game Sweden probably need to have to get to that 3-point threshold that you probably at least need to go through to the next round. And it's going to be tough for them against Japan and the Netherlands. So this is going to be a very important one for them. I am not sold on Sweden winning this game, though. I think Tunisia can make it very difficult and can steal a point and frustrate them, hold them to a draw, especially with Sweden being a little bit weak in defense. Tunisia having some skill where they can kind of counter through Hannibal. So I would be playing Tunisia plus a half here. Tunisia double chance is another way to attack that. Like Tunisia and draw, which is basically the equivalent to plus a half. That is minus 115 right now on FanDuel. That's probably my favorite look for that game. And yeah, that's a lot of bets, hopefully to get you through the weekend. And then we will be back on Monday with another show, Hammer Daily, with 4 more games. And we also have a couple watch-alongs coming next week. So a lot of fun stuff going on this channel. A reminder as well, if you want to bet this tournament, a great way to do so is through BetStamp Pro. If you're still toggling between sportsbook tabs trying to find the best number, you are giving up your edge before you even place the bet. It takes a lot of time. It eats away your productivity. BetStamp Pro pulls real-time odds from over 200 sportsbooks, regulated, offshore, PPHs, exchanges, and prediction markets, all on one screen with sub-second latency. But the real advantage is BetStamp's True Line, a proprietary algorithm that aggregates the sharpest books to calculate what the real number should be. You're not just seeing odds, you're seeing where the edge actually is. Sort by EV, filter by hold, and identify off-market lines the second they appear. This is the same tool professional bettors use to scale their profits. Head to betstamp.com/hammer and get a free 14-day trial to see the full main market screen for yourself. Links in the description. All right, everyone. I am sorry we went long here. I'm sorry to myself as well, considering the state of my throat. But I just love the World Cup. I just want to talk about it. I want to talk about it. I want to bet these games. I want to watch these games. This is a great time of year. It only comes around every 4 years, so got to enjoy it. I'm looking forward to breaking down a lot more games as well next week on this channel, because we're going to be doing this for the entirety of the tournament. I'm sorry, Jason will be back on Monday, but don't worry, we'll make it tolerable with some good guests who can talk through these games. And then we'll have the watch long on Wednesday, the first one, England and Croatia, and we have another one on Friday, I believe, which is USA Australia. So you're going to want to join us for those. We're going to have a fun group of people in studio. Until then, everyone, good luck on your bets. Enjoy your weekend. Go Canada. Go USA for our American viewers. Thank you all for tuning in for this over an hour long episode of the Hammer Daily presented by FanDuel. We will see you all on Monday.